Ready, set, hut, hut.
As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sound of Golden Blue football.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Now let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around about the 50 to 10 to 5. A touchdown, West Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Patrick White. Touchdown, Tay Von Austin.
The Don Nehlen's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels fear to tread.
I think you think that these guys are going to fall over dead for you. Well, I got news for you. They're going to punch you right in the mouth. It's Mountaineer pride!
Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football. West Virginia football.
We've no doubt tonight they shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue. Not this night!
They've done it. They've done it. A perfect season. And the Mountaineers, for the first time in history, undefeated and untied.
Don Nehlen and his Mountaineers, for the second time, have finished a regular season with an unblemished mark.
Ain't no stopping the Golden Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome back into the Country Roads webcast. We're providing you West Virginia sports content from Mountaineer fans for Mountaineer fans. Here today for our first live stream in a while. It's been a lot of pre-recorded here on the channel as of late with our WVU News Daily and such, but plenty of news to discuss that couldn't wait till tomorrow's WVU News Daily as we bring you that every Monday through Friday. But we had to talk some WVU football recruiting as West Virginia lands a really talented and highly sought-after running back, one of the top players in the state of Tennessee and a highly rated running back in the class of 2027 in general as they continue to build that 2027 class and build it impressively with another really talented addition. We'll talk about him, highlight some of his profiles on both the recruiting services, take a look at his highlights, and then, of course, detail the entire 2027 class. Plus, we now know the conference opponents for both the men and women's basketball seasons. We'll detail those. And, of course, we got to talk a little WVU baseball as we're just under 3 hours away from West Virginia taking on UNC in their second game of the College World Series and got high hopes for the Mountaineers in that one. So, a lot to talk about on this one. So, we're going to dive in here momentarily, but do appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're watching live or watching on a playback. Either way, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Help us out with that YouTube algorithm. Let this video find more Mountaineer fans like you and me. Be sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all your WVU football recruiting news, WVU basketball news, you name it, we're covering it here if it's Mountaineer sports related on the Country Roads webcast. And of course, if you're in here live, throw any questions, comments you got there in the chat. I'll catch up on those towards the end of the stream. And of course, if you're watching on playback, you can throw them in the comment section. I'll respond in due time. Do appreciate you guys tuning into this one. So with no further ado, let's dive in here with the WVU football recruiting news. I think this is a big pickup for West Virginia. You know, I think in recent days they've had some really big pickups, and this one right here goes right along with those as West Virginia adds a talented running back to this class. As we'll pull it up here, Kamoni Williams, better known as Moni Williams, announcing he commits to the Mountaineers. You see the commitment graphic there from Rivals. Currently a 3-star running back, but he is a borderline 4-star, and with him about to enter his senior season, I would be very surprised if he doesn't earn that 4th star by the time it's all said and done, and I'm really excited about this pickup. You guys know I love the skill position ads for West Virginia anyways and getting a chance to talk about them, so that's always something that's fun for me. And we got a chance to do that here with this one. So let's go to his recruiting profiles here. Let's go on 3 first, then we'll check 247 and peep some highlights, shall we? So Southwind High School there in Memphis, Texas, as you see here on his on 3 profile, just committing to the Mountaineers a couple of days ago. And West Virginia in the midst of a pretty big visit weekend. We'll talk about some other prospects that are visiting, particularly one that I've had my eye on for a while, as you guys know here on the channel, going all the way back to February, March when we first talked about him, but we'll get there. Let's talk Moni Williams first. 6'1", 200 pounds is what he's listed at on 3. And look at the rating here. 89 graded 3-star, so borderline 4-star status. And he's the number 19 player in the state of Tennessee. So we're talking a top 20 player, top 20 recruit in Tennessee in this 2027 class, and top 35 at the running back position there, according to Rivals as well. Which brings us to 247, where he's rated similarly, but actually even higher there on 247, as we'll go here and see. 89 grade again, 3-star, but number 17 player in Tennessee, and the number 23 running back in the class. So according to 247, this is a top 25 running back in the 2027 class that West Virginia just picked up with Moni Williams. And what I love about his game, as you see here in the title of the video, he's shifty, he's got speed, he can make you miss, but great size to go along with it. He's coming in over 200 pounds already as a true freshman he will be. So, you love that aspect of his game. And, of course, you guys know what's my determination more so than star rating, where they rank in the state, anything like that. It's the offer list. And you can see here plenty of power conference teams here were going after Moni Williams in addition to West Virginia. Of course, being from Tennessee, Vanderbilt and Tennessee both in the mix. You also had Auburn, Colorado, Florida State, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisville, Maryland, Miami, Minnesota, Missouri, Ohio State, Oklahoma State, Ole Miss, Oregon, Pittsburgh, Purdue, USC. I mean, this is a who's who of an offer list here for Moni Williams, and West Virginia ends up securing the commitment from him, which is very big here, I think, in this 2027 class. So with that being said, let's pull it up here and let's check out some highlights so you guys can see why I like the game of Moni Williams. Here we'll watch about a minute or so of his highlight tape. I'll try and link the full tape there in the video description if you guys want to check it out here. And this is just his midseason highlights from his junior year. So we still got a senior season coming up, which is probably going to be even more impressive. But I really like the highlight tape here from Moni Williams. Just here, look at this first run. Basically a face mask right there that causes him to spin around in reverse field and then go make a big play. I know another West Virginia running back that spun out of a face mask one time, a guy named Noel Devine, who's now on the coaching staff, and also he's wearing number 7, pretty fitting. A lot more size than Noel Devine, though. He's coming in over 200-plus pounds, so good size to go with that burst that you see him as he explodes through the hole there on that second play. And then here he is. You see the hands, so he can catch the ball out of the backfield on a screen play. And then there's some of the elusiveness that I'm talking about as he makes a guy or two miss. This one, you see him here burst through the middle on what looks to be an inside zone, and then the safety there waiting on him, but enough speed to make a move and make him miss and go score. Yet again, a run up the middle, and look at him. Looks like they got him hemmed up yet again. About 3-4 defenders there when they paused that frame to highlight him, and he was able to squirt through there and go score a touchdown. So you got to love what you see there from that running back. Here he is, wildcat set, and a little run there, a little sweep action, and just let him use his athleticism and go score. Let's take a look at one more here because we love seeing him be able to catch passes as well. Here he is split out wide, making a nice catch there on that one. And yet again, wildcat set on this one with him taking the snap. And then there's the shiftiness that I'm talking about. Shiftiness and the contact balance as he breaks through tackles there on that one. Yet again, wildcat. You can see they were just trying to get the ball into his hands any way possible. And I think this is, a really good running back here for the future for West Virginia because of what you're seeing here on tape from Moni Williams. Look at that right there. There's the shiftiness. You know what I'm saying? That contact balance, that shiftiness, ever present. This is all the same game here, these last 3 or 4 plays, if you haven't noticed, where they had him in the wildcat there. So pretty impressive stuff here from Moni Williams, another addition to the 2027 class. And you've seen it be hyped up since he committed to the Mountaineers here. Let's go ahead and pull this one up here. Shane Pickering on X saying, Southwind Tennessee 2027 running back Moni Williams committing to West Virginia. He is one of the most underrated running backs in the class with his combination of size, burst, and speed, which I just talked about a little bit there. And he should have a strong case as a rankings riser as he moves up to playing 6A ball in Tennessee. And that's what I'm talking about, guys. I would be very surprised if Moni Williams doesn't end up as a 4-star pickup for the Mountaineers. He's right there on the borderline already. Think he's going to have a really good senior season and should cross into that. So that's the main thing we had to talk about here in this 2027 class with our recruiting side of this update here on this live stream. But the prospect I told you guys, teased it up a little bit earlier. You guys know I've been talking about this guy since, February or March. I had 2 quarterbacks on my, top wish list here for 2027. You guys know I love skill position players. You guys know I love quarterbacks. And when I was breaking down the film of quarterbacks West Virginia had offered back in February or March, there were 2 guys that really stood out to me and I highlighted on subsequent live streams. And the first one that I highlighted was a quarterback named Justin Murphy. Hold on. And then the other one was a quarterback named Andre Phillip. And, of course, Andre Phillip committed to the Mountaineers recently. Justin Murphy is visiting the Mountaineers this weekend, June 12th through June 14th. So on campus, as we speak, visiting the Mountaineers. And I believe he has a commitment date set for June 25th. So within a couple of weeks, we should hear about this one. But, man, you guys, I would be ecstatic if the two quarterbacks that I had, on the top of my wish list, because they were both kind of prototypical Rich Rod quarterbacks, really good system fits for a Rich Rod offense, and they both end up committing to Mountaineers. That would be super special because, I felt like if we got either one of those, that would be great for this 2027 class. We've already got one, and now Justin Murphy may be in the mix as well as he decides here in the near future and visiting WVU this weekend. So keep an eye on that one. But with that being said, we can now update our 2027 WVU football verbal commitment list with the addition of Moni Williams here into the class. West Virginia really shaping up with a nice class in 2027. We know the 2026 class, the highest rated in modern history, and I think the 2027 class is going to be just as good, if not maybe even top it. You have really good system fits, and I think the main thing that impresses me most about this class, as I've talked about time and time again, is you're getting that speed that you thought you would get, when Rich Rod came back. That's what we were excited about, man. He built these teams around speed, and yet again, we're seeing that happen again here in this 2027 class, and I think you're seeing a good mix of length and speed here in this 2027 class. And Moni Williams kind of fits both of those categories. Great size at over 200 pounds already. He will be coming in as a true freshman. You saw there on tape, got a burst, got the shiftiness, and has the size to come in. So I think right now I'm really excited about this 2027 class, and I think it's only the tip of the iceberg. I think this thing's going to get even better. Hoping for good news on Justin Murphy and some of the other visitors that are coming this weekend. But this is the commitment list for West Virginia thus far in 2027. And if you want more info on any of these other commits, of course, you can check out the CRW recruiting playlist on the channels. We've covered each of these as they've came through with a verbal commit. But Moni Williams, the latest, another skill position addition for the Mountaineers here in the 2027 class. And I would call it the second running back edition, because although he's listed as a running back on the recruiting services here, I think Brian Duncan's going to end up as a slot receiver, and I've talked about that in his commitment. But I think with the running backs West Virginia has, you have Lee Prince Jr., one of the fastest players in the class, one of the fastest players in Florida. We know the speed that they produce. And then, of course, Moni Williams, who has a great combination of size and speed. I think you got your speedy guy with Lee Prince, and I think you got your guy that can run but also has that size and power element to his game with Moni Williams now, who may well end up being the highest rated running back in the class, as I think he'll end up as a 4-star recruit. So a good pickup here for West Virginia as we highlight the 2027 WVU football class here. So that's what I had on the football side of things. Let's transition, talk a little basketball real quick before we wrap up with baseball. I don't want to keep you guys too long because I know you guys are excited as I am for that 7 p.m. first pitch for West Virginia and UNC in the College World Series. We'll hit some basketball real quick, hit some baseball real quick, and then I'll catch up on your all's comments in the chat. So if you guys got any questions, comments, be sure to drop those in there because we will hit on those before we wrap up. Appreciate you guys tuning into this one. Let's go basketball here. Let's start with the women's side. I mean, ladies first, right? We got to be gentlemen here. Home and away for West Virginia, as we had the conference matrix released for both men and women's basketball. We know who the opponents will be. We don't know the dates, times, anything like that yet, but we know who they'll play, where they'll play them as far as conference games are concerned on the basketball side. So starting with the women, you can see who they will play in Morgantown. You get BYU, Utah, Colorado, Iowa State, Kansas, and Kansas State at home. Then West Virginia will travel on the road to play Arizona State, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Houston, and UCF. And then, of course, you have 3 opponents that you play at home and on the road, so 3 opponents that you play twice. For the West Virginia women, that'll be Texas Tech, TCU, and Cincinnati. And then how about the men, as theirs was, of course, released as well. Let's go ahead and highlight that also. For the men's side of things, they have a home conference opponent schedule that will consist of Arizona, Arizona State, Houston, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and TCU all coming to Morgantown this year. And then the Mountaineers will have to travel to take on Baylor, BYU, Colorado, Kansas, Texas Tech, and Utah. And then, of course, the 3 opponents that West Virginia will play both home and away. And I do like this because 2 of the 3 here are the East Coast opponents, East side, I guess you could say, here of the map for West Virginia, with Cincinnati and UCF being included here. So the teams that West Virginia will play both home and away in basketball this season will be Cincinnati, UCF, and Iowa State. So there are the conference opponents as we get a little basketball update in there. Just a little tease there as we approach, kind of basketball season, beginning practice, and all of those fun things. But right now, the hot topic, and rightfully so, of course, is WVU baseball. And why wouldn't it be? Historic season, record-breaking season, the ultimate season maybe for Mountaineer baseball, and it's not done yet. We're excited to cheer them on against UNC, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. But before we get there, I did want to highlight the fact that Steve Sabins, man, Randy Mazey built this up, and we've talked about that a ton, and rightfully so. But Steve Sabins has done a great job, kind of taking that baton and really not missing a beat. Absolute success in his first 2 seasons, and this year he was awarded because of that, as he has been named the NCBWA Mike Martin Coach of the Year, announced recently. So had to highlight this here, as Steve Sabins deserves this recognition for what he's done here. Program record in conference wins, program record in overall wins. They've got a win in the College World Series already, and another game on the docket tonight, which we'll talk about now, as the Mountaineers will take on UNC tonight. So let's highlight that one a little bit here really quickly. So UNC, coming into this game, they already have 50-plus wins on the season. As you see, they enter with a 51-12-1 record, just defeating Ole Miss in their first game in the College World Series 6-2. It's the 13th trip to Omaha in the College World Series for UNC. They have a pitcher in Caden Glauber, who was named ACC Freshman of the Year. They also have Jason DeCaro, outfielder Owen Hull, and shortstop Jake Schaffner, who were all ACC first team players as well for the Tar Heels. And then we go here talk a little bit about the Mountaineers, of course, who at now are sitting at 46-15, which the 46 wins, as I mentioned earlier, a program record for overall wins. We know they had the conference record with 21 Big 12 wins as well. The Mountaineers defeating Troy 7-5 in their opening game in Omaha back on Friday. This, of course, is the first College World Series appearance ever for the Mountaineers, but they got a victory in their pocket, and we're really excited that happened, and hoping for another one here tonight against North Carolina. And the game, of course, will be on ESPN. It's a 7 p.m. start here for the first pitch. Carl Ravitch, Kyle Peterson, Chris Burke, and Chris Budden will be on the call. Or, of course, you can tune in and catch it on the Mountaineer Sports Network with the great Andrew Caridi and Jake Weghorst. They're calling on the radio. And there's also a national radio broadcast on Westwood One. If you want to tune into that, you can find either of those on the Varsity Network app. And this game is significant because the loser of the game plays the winner of the elimination game between Troy and Ole Miss, which both, West Virginia beat Troy, UNC beat Ole Miss, and that game would take place on Tuesday at 2 p.m. The winner doesn't have to play again until Wednesday at 2 p.m. against the winner of that Tuesday contest. So why is this significant? Because if West Virginia finds a way to win today, then they would only need one more win to advance to the national championship, which is a 3-game series, because they would be in the driver's seat, and whoever they would play in that next game, if they find a way to win tonight, would have to beat them twice to be able to reach that national championship series. Versus if the Mountaineers lose tonight, then you have to win 3 games in a row to be able to reach that same threshold there and play for a national title. So I would argue tonight is not only the most important game in thus far in the College World Series for West Virginia, but probably the biggest game in WVU baseball history. I think that's not very arguable, but should be a good one. This is the first time West Virginia will face another nationally ranked team here in the College World Series, so should be a really good contest, as Max Yell will be on the mound for the Mountaineers, and that should help West Virginia, who Max Yell has already been named a unanimous All-American. As you see, perfect game, NCBWA, ABC, and Baseball America all naming Max Yell as an All-American. You also had multiple other Mountaineers named All-Americans with Gavin Kelly and Chanson Cole also being recently named. Gavin Kelly being named at 2 different positions, which is insane, 2 different positions in the same season. Second baseman All-American on one service, of course, catcher All-American on the other service. So we'll see how this pans out tonight. But West Virginia versus UNC at 7 p.m. We're all looking forward to it and seeing how this goes. Really important game here in Omaha for the Mountaineers and hoping for the best. Fingers crossed for West Virginia to get this win against the Tar Heels. But that's what I had, guys. I want to really hit on that running back edition, which I think is probably being a little bit underrated right now because I think Moni Williams is going to end up as a highly rated recruit in the 2027 class. Already is kind of there, but I think he'll end up a 4-star and maybe, who knows how far he can rake depending on how successful of a senior season that he has. And then, of course, we had to highlight the basketball schedules as far as the conference is concerned for both the women's and men's teams. And, of course, had to talk a little WVU baseball as we get ready and can't wait until 7 p.m. tonight. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to catch up on some of y'all's comments and we'll call it a show here. Appreciate you guys tuning into this one, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching the playback, whether you're listening on the audio side or on any podcast platform. Always appreciate the support here on the Country Roads webcast. If you're here on the video side, be sure you hit that thumbs up button, help us out with the algorithm. Let this video find other Mountaineer fans. Subscribe to the channel, stay up to date on all your WVU sports news. And of course, if you didn't get a chance to chat live, you can throw your thoughts in the comment section. And then those of you on the audio side, we always appreciate you as well. Be sure to leave a rating there. That helps us out on that side of things. So with that being said, let's catch up on some of your all's comments here, and then we'll call it a show for this CRW live stream here on June 14th as we prepare for the Mountaineers against the Tar Heels in the College World Series. We got channel member Devil Dog in the house. Let's go. Hey, let's go Mountaineers, Devil Dog. Always good to see you, brother. Trey Edwards says, oh, man, these commits are amazing. I'm excited for Moni. Me too, Trey. Me too. I think that this 2027 class is really shaping up to be another really good one, and I'm super excited about the job that this staff and football has done on the recruiting trail, despite the fact that the wins haven't came yet. I think that'll start this season, but even despite that, they've done an excellent job in both the 2026 and 2027 classes. Devil Dog says, Rich Rod 1.0 had to fight just to get the must-haves to be competitive. Rich Rod 2.0 has the resources, put up or shut up, and I believe he thrives on that kind of pressure. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more, man. I think that, you look back on that first Rich Rod 1.0 era, he had success despite not necessarily getting what he needed resource-wise. Now he has the full backing of, in my opinion, maybe the greatest athletic director in WVU history in Ren Baker. And, you have full alignment from the president down with Michael Benson now instilled there as well. Between him, Ren Baker, and everything they're willing to do to support him, I think the sky's the limit for the Rich Rod 2.0 era. And I can't wait to see where he takes us now that he has that backing and has kind of those resources that he didn't have the first go around. And, just gets you really excited to think about he didn't have those resources on his first go around, and we were on the cusp of a national title. Now that he has those resources, how far can we go? Time will tell, but I love the way things are shaping up thus far with the transfer portal class that we're going to have on the field this year, the recruiting class we're going to have on the field this year, and the recruiting classes we're going to have on the field in future years as well. So I completely agree with that. As channel member Trey Edwards says, most of these commits are borderline 4-stars. Yeah, I feel like there's been, 2 to 5 commits that I've talked about that are, 87, 88, 89 graded 3-stars that I think that after their senior season could bump up to 4-star status. And West Virginia is already, flirting with the top 25 class with them having the rankings that they have. So if they do have those type of those type of senior seasons that we think they could have, the Mountaineers will very well end up with a top 20 class here in 2027, in my opinion. I really think. Hey, Silas in the house. What's up, Silas? Good to see you always, man. Says, I can't wait for the baseball tonight. Let's go. Hey, let's go Mountaineers, Silas. I can't wait either, man. And you guys know I've talked about this in the past a ton. I was never a baseball fan. But, the past 2-3 years of West Virginia, I've been trying to get into it. And then finally this year, I sat down and watched the game from beginning to end. And this team is really exciting, man. It really flies by. Even if you're someone that feels like, man, I can't watch baseball, it's boring. You can watch this West Virginia team. You can watch them from beginning to end. If I can do it, anybody can. And, man, I can't wait for 7 either, Silas. I think it's going to be a really fun game tonight. It's going to be a tough one. UNC's a good team as well, but I got faith in the Mountaineers. I'm, just starting to feel like we may be a team of destiny in this one. We'll see how it pans out, but I love this run, and regardless, I think that we're in a position to continue the success with WVU baseball and WVU athletics in general. I won't go too far down that rabbit hole because I don't want to keep you guys too long, but obviously you guys have heard me rave about Ren Baker a ton. I mean, you just look back this 2026 even. I mean, what do you have? The women's team making a deep run. You got the men's team winning the crown. You got the baseball team, making it further than they ever have. You have an all-time recruiting class for WVU football. You have an all-time recruiting class for WVU basketball coming in. The sky is the limit right now for WVU athletics, and I'm really excited about it. And like Silas said, can't wait to see this game tonight and see how far West Virginia can take it in the postseason here in the first College World Series ever. Let's see. Trey Edwards says, I personally don't think we make it past UNC this year. I'm happy we made it to Omaha, and being able to avenge WVU basketball and 2024 baseball would be amazing. I don't think we make it past them. Hey, man, UNC, they're a really good baseball team. It's not going to be easy by any means, as he says. I hope I'm wrong, though. Likewise, Trey, I do as well. I mean, I'm keeping the faith, got my fingers crossed, but this will by far be our toughest game yet here in the postseason, so we'll see how it pans out. But the positive side of that, and you guys know I'm a glass half full kind of guy, is that even if it doesn't go our way, there's still a chance. There's still a chance. We did it in the Super Regional. We could do it again. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully West Virginia shows up and shows out tonight and surprises us and gets this win, and we're sitting in the driver's seat then. We would be literally in the driver's seat to potentially make the National Championship Series, which would be super awesome. So can't wait to get to this game tonight for sure. As Devil Dog 44 adds, UNC is sound all over the diamond, but it would be sweet revenge after the basketball snub we recently suffered and they took the slot. Yes, and we got screwed on that one. And you guys know I'm a UNC basketball fan since I was young, but even me, I knew that was an absolute snub. West Virginia deserved that spot a couple of years ago. So, could it be poetic justice? Call it karma, call it whatever you want. But West Virginia's got a chance tonight, and I think that revenge factor may play a factor. Trey Edwards says this is the first test we've had since Kansas in the Big 12 chip. I would agree with that. Best team we've played since then, for sure, in my opinion. A little ESP from It's Coop. Hey, eat shit hit always. It's Coop. Always, brother. It's Coop said, do you think Cole can come out of the bullpen if needed today? I wouldn't expect it. I mean, that would be like a dire situation if you pulled him out. I think that you hope that Maxiell goes, as deep as he can, and then maybe from there you go Montesa, who we haven't seen yet in the College World Series, and then after that maybe you could go Bassinger or somebody like that. But I don't think we'll see Cole today. I think that would be something for future games. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, Maxiell can go as deep as possible. We'll see. As Trey agrees, highly doubt it. Next time we likely see him as Tuesday or Wednesday, and I would agree for sure. It's Coop asked, any talks on who we finna get for the last roster spot for basketball? Not yet. I guess still plenty of time on that one. One more spot remaining. We'll see how they choose to handle that. I think the roster as far as contributors is probably already fulfilled. We'll see what happens for that 15th spot. I'm sure that we'll get news on that here in the near future, and as it comes out, we'll share it with you here on the Country Roads webcast. But appreciate you guys. Great questions and comments there in the live chat. If you didn't get a chance to chat live, drop them in the comment section. I'll respond to them after the fact, even if you're watching this on a playback. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to hop off here, get ready to go watch some WVU baseball at 7 p.m., as I'm sure you guys all are as well. But just wanted to come on here, talk a little WVU football recruiting, some basketball, and of course got to talk some baseball with how things have been going. Appreciate you guys tuning into this one and being responsive to the first live stream in a while. Going to try to get back to more of these more often, fingers crossed. But regardless, you can always count on every Monday through Friday a WVU News Daily pre-recorded show every morning here to keep you up to date on everything going on throughout the Mountaineer Nation sports world. So be sure you subscribe here to the Country Roads webcast. I appreciate you guys tuning in this one. I'll catch you on the next one. And until next time, let's go Mountaineers.